Good dawn, people. You can now report me to the police. I am driving while having a conversation on my phone in your neighborhood. Anywho, so people, if you noticed, I have a new interview that was live last night. I had Madia West of LoveTruthAndBeauty.com and the Love Truth and Beauty YouTube channel. And I titled this so after the kind of dynamics of the conversation we had last night. I wanted to reflect on it just a little bit in this drive. Last night on the show, we had a talk about effectively the quote truth movement, right? And we were getting into the weeds of the purpose of the truth movement versus people's purpose for being in the truth movement, because everybody's in the truth movement for different reasons, and some of our reasons I think are more personal than others, right? Some people have different values that have brought them there, and some of those values are not as what's the word? Altruistic as others. Some people are just working the market of a culture, and they're interested in it fitting into that so they can have personal success. And I think that that wasn't clear to a whole lot of us that have been warriors, putting up with this shit and knowing that we were part of a catalytic conversation to change the psychic field. And we thought that what we were saying was going to be in much more encouraged support, that there was much more agreement, because we often talk about these things in a very peculiar way, because we're keeping it broad, because we're not trying to be so idiosyncratic of what we are spearheading with our personal individualized efforts towards this greater good, that it becomes some alienating thing, right? We're not trying to say, oh, I figured out a doctrine to throw at you. Here it is in writing, co-signed by an army, right? That's not what's happening, right? And often I think people get treated that way because I think that they will relent themselves to an attitude, to a convincing in their mind, based on nitpicking anything about a person's thing, about who they are or what they represent, and just saying it's gonna go this bad route. I'm a seer, I have foreseen it, I'm pulling out. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, you're a foreseer, you foresaw it, and you're pulling out. Yeah, you're a wise one, right? There was no evidence that anything was wrong, but you're wise and you knew something was wrong, and I just believe you, even though you couldn't produce what was fucking wrong. This is what happens. How's it going, Prime Lord? Is that what is this? Is that two people hugging and then there's a microphone? What is that? Do I have enough brightness? Yeah, my brightness is all the way up. Interesting. Anyway. So our conversation went through the dynamics of talking about how some of us are on a certain level that involves a certain amount of activism, and then you've got other people that are, that they got families to tend to, and then you've got other people that are broken themselves, maybe even a bit in a set of isolation. All right. So I'm going to take advantage of this right now, and so listen, you've got someone on a toilet. I really don't want to see a name like that in my chat group. That is just, your name is a troll, and if you're not going to be a troll, don't take the name of a troll. It's no offense, you're on a 30-minute timeout because I don't want to see that. I am not a channel that is filled with any more filth than my bare naked chest. That is about the most filth that you're gonna get on this channel, is my bare naked chest and maybe some crass jokes. But if you are cool, then everything's cool, but you gotta change that name. I don't want to see that name. Period. Can you make the chest clap? Can I make the chest clap? Maybe? No, I don't think I'm there yet. I got more work to do. I'm actually gonna go hit the gym today. And I did arms and shoulders yesterday, so I'm kind of going for the back. But anyway, right? So with my channel, I got what I talk about, and then I got what gets attracted to my channel, right? Various, you gotta ignore haters like you audience ignores you. Something like that. Susie Q's hanging out. Hey, Susie. Anyway, Little Sigma YouTube. Little Sigma. Anyway. Right? So this is a lot of people and their odd existence. Whatever draws them in to such a to my channel, like, that just has like what gets seen in your feed that compels you in, and then to just see that a guy's talking about something in a pretty straight and direct, mature format, perhaps intelligent, and you don't have anything to say, other than to say, let me see if I can fucking, fuck around with this guy who probably thinks he's important with his weird name, right? Or whatever. Oh, look at this guy with his beard and his glasses and his hair, and he works out, he thinks he's hot shit. He thinks he's hot shit, right? And people like you are actually the enemy in the war that me and Mario West are talking about, right? So the conversations that we're having when we're talking about how there's a war going on, most of that war is dealing with jackasses, hyenas, vultures, right? These are the second-class carnivores of the animal kingdom. They are not apex predators. Apex predators don't have fucking time to fucking sit down, pick their nose and call you names. They are just safely hiding in their world of inadequacy, right? And they have some sort of service, some sort of function that they fulfill for YouTube and Google, and therefore they're there in the algorithm to get fed to me for whatever fucking reason. Me, these kinds of conversations with these kinds of titles, this kinds of vernacular that I use, I'm seeking for people, right? It's kind of like I'm speaking out into the profane masses. The profane let me know that they're there by their trolling. How you losers doing? But then there's a few of you who are picking up on this guy seems to be trying to get at something that's hard to explain, that matters deeply, and then the context kind of comes together that you're talking about something of consequence in the world, something of consequence for you personally, and that's a double level of work, right? That's a double level of work, and people don't get enough support structure. They don't get enough support structure to justify doing the existential work, right? And they're sitting there in their world, in their loss. And they don't have, they don't got anybody around them, right? And everything that you got to do for your personal development, so that way you can hope to step up into the battle fucking field. You're surrounded by nothing and nowhere but places that don't want you to do that. You don't have enough space. You got too many judgmental eyes for the privacy of some of the things you got to do ritualistically, even if they're mundane rituals, as opposed to elaborate motions of the invisible forces. I mean, is pranic breathing a mundane ritual? I would say it is, especially as you learn the different ways to breathe, how there is so much form and function that holds particular meaning and also has different results, both physiologically as well as mentally, spiritually, in this holistic new medicine that is arising, which it needs to demonstrate its abundance. It needs to demonstrate its self-evident superiority and almost harmonic perfection to the needs of your soul, your body, and your mind. It's a crime that we are denied having that in our world. And it is also a crime how many people fight against those notions. Usually because they've been to the doctor so many damn times, are in such a condition that they've already heard it from their doctor who said, no, don't do this, no, don't do that, stick with this, right? And that's just kind of like, that's like going to like a bad shaman who's giving you bad practice advice, right? And the shaman doesn't have that kind of authority. They have to earn it. Or they work in the shadows. Doctors can do gnarly shit in the light. because unfortunately the light is the false light, and it makes them look good when they're doing horrible things. And that is why people trust them, is because they're in the light, but they don't understand the difference between the false light and the true light. And then they just lead you astray, and you end up accepting ideas that prerequisitely cause you to reject the ideas of other people when your ideas are all in accord with natural law in correspondence to the higher force. And maybe theirs is too, but they're having a conversation to recontextualize things, to wedge you out of acceptable practice. And that's a big part of the divide there, right? Because, the healers are also like the trainers. Like, you could sit down with me and you could do healing with me. You could sit down and have a pranic meditation session or something like that. Because I would just be happy to fucking give you the little kick in the ass to do it your fucking self. Especially because so few people want to. And it's something that I do in my downtime at least twice a day, right? And I can take you from healing and then also kickstart you on the next level, the more proactive level. Okay, you've healed, you've integrated. Now it's time to grow, to expand, to enhance talent, to give yourself the ability to put yourself out there, to hold ground in the psychic field, and to protect that which you've established within the higher force in the biospherical genesis of this realm. That's what I wish to inspire people to do from my 2004 Honda Civic. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Wait, hold on, let me check the chat before I... Oh, Awaken Your Mind is here. What's up, Derek? Derek gets to be a moderator. Boom. Check out Awaken Your Mind. Very soon, next couple days. We're making absolutely sure of the day. It might be the 13th at about 6 Eastern time. But the Tom Althouse interview that Derek and I are conducting on his channel, which I should be able this time to simulcast. I need to do a test. I need to do a test run. Make sure I don't screw up the stream again, because it didn't go out last time and I gotta upload it. But me and Derek will be interviewing Tom Althouse, and we were talking about Tom Althouse towards the end with Madia. So Madia is planning to be in attendance, and we may have one or two other surprise panelists, and we're going to go 2 to 3 hours depending on the flow of the conversation. I'm very excited. Tom's been very, very cool back and forth in the conversation. We're going to get a chance to both nerd out as well as do the important work of honoring the sacrifices the man made to hold the integrity of his work together, which makes him the only fucking writer in Hollywood to have done this kind of a thing, to have cared to do this kind of a thing, to have bothered considering what they did, right? People I don't think understood, and now look at how much of us, unaware of his strife, the circumstances of the world since that film came out moved us into alignment of seeing the horror show he came out of. Like, he actually has a strong comprehension of what the actual dark veil of sorcery around people's heads are, because of how they saw him manipulate the more practical story he told. Still extraordinary with superpowers and dystopian super tech and all that, but not, like it would have been a 20 times more real film. And unfortunately, such brilliance was in the clutches of some of the most powerful gatekeepers in media, at the top with our Hollywood culture of the time. And now it's funny because according to his testimonies, you're seeing where his lawsuit corresponds to things in Hollywood deliberately ruining films, and you're realizing exactly how it all happened, as well as knowing their fucking attitude about storyboard to script, which was probably the biggest takeaway in the filmmaking process that you need to understand, is that these people don't give a fuck about what you wrote. They like their pretty pictures and their manipulative feelings, and that's all that they fucking like in Hollywood. They've ripped the soul and the mind right out of these films. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Hold on. Oops, I'm still not... She's awesome. Just wonderful days there left. And where are you from? Hello, sir. Kind of name is Little Sigma. All right, cool. All right, see you later, guys.